today's Thursday with Thames, we have Professor K. Subramanian, who is a former professor and founder director of Advanced Center for Informatics and Innovation Learning. And he's been an expert when it comes to cybersecurity, cyber assurance, and a matter expert when it comes to the education and innovation segment of developing the cyber infrastructure of India. So we are honored to have him today for the webinar.
Good evening to all of you. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to share my feelings and my idea about cyber security to cyber assurance in the cyber governance framework which we designed. And I thought that maybe possibly people thought that information technology assets are difficult to share. So what they thought was how to secure this kind of assets. That was a question there. Now what happened was they started with how to give an assurance for a business when some kind of disruption happens. So this is, I think, a kind of things that are happening. So what we thought was, what is the kind of techno management challenges what we're facing? We'll just share it with you. Next slide, please. So I just planned my coverage as introduction and governance components, cyber governance, and standards for this, and assurance framework, and challenges for technologies and businesses. I think this is the kind of coverage agenda I have made. Next slide. Next slide, please. So there are a few quotes which I would like to share with you. The poor have sometimes objected to being governed badly, but rich have always objected to being governed at all. So this is Chesterton, that's what he made a statement there. I think it's true. Ever since men began to modify their lives using technology, they have found themselves in a series of technological traps. This is Roger has said. The law is the last interpretation of law given by the last judge, Anand said. So even law is not going to give you some kind of assurance. Privacy is where technology and law collide. This is what Richard Smith said. Technology makes it possible for gain control of everything, but except for technology. I think this is John Tudor said. So I think this is kind of course which is relevant, very relevant to the kind of environment what we are having in now. And let me see next slide, please. So I think if you see the organizations in ICT, loose coupling and fragmented implementation is happening. So the organization implement technology is not closely coupled, but loosely coupled. But there are various mediating factors we have. One is environment, next is culture, third is structure, fourth is standard procedures, fifth is politics, sixth is management decisions, second is a chance for success. I think this is the kind of things where we are trying to move around and see that how mediating factors are affecting our kind of implementation of information technology in organizations. I think what we have to do is today's explosion creating challenges for business technology leaders at virtually every organization. So what to do is how to create a trust. Trust cannot be bought. Trust has to be created. So it is required to solve the challenges in a paradigm shift from generating, managing silos of information, of talent and skills, of technologies and of projects to an environment where information is trusted, strategic asset that is shared across the company. Next. Okay, now let me give you a kind of transition scenario. When we had the assets failure, we thought of insuring the assets as long as you are quantifying the assets. So insurance was playing a role to give you a kind of compensation when things are lost, are disrupted. Next came to audit. So the audit has three concepts, which we have pre, concurrent, and post. So what we have normally done is a post audit, but now we are trying to do concurrent as well as pre audit. So this is, I think, kind of environment changing the audit. The audit synergy gives kind of assurance to you. Third is electronic continuous audit. So real-time audit we are doing. That means we are trying to get an assurance by means of ECA. That means electronic continuous audit. If you do, maybe possibly you are able to give you some kind of assurance to that. Both these certification standards and compliances, I think this gives you a kind of more assurance where we follow standard procedures and processes, and we are able to show the kind of assurance on this. So what we are trying to see here is one kind of assurance what we are going to give is management and operational assurance. That is going to cover risk and ROI. Next is technical assurance. I think nobody is going to give you, but availability, serviceability, and maintainability. That's what I think we are trying to see in technical assurance area. The financial assurance is where revenue assurance, leakage and fraud is going to be directed as it happens, and leakage will be prevented. So revenue assurance is going to be given in this kind of framework. Fourth is legal compliance and assurance is governance framework. So we are trying to see legal laws are going to give us some kind of compensation or assurance for business to run. So why assurance is needed? So internal competition from liberalization, world competition from globalization, entrenched competition abroad, asymmetry in scale, technology, and brands. Learn more about your own businesses. I think reach out to all businesses and function heads. Sharpen internal consultancy competencies. Proactively seize and repair of MS and partners. Foster two-way flow of IS and line talent. I think very, very important aspect of the competitive threats and way forward. So there are 4 areas of assurance. What we are key areas of assurance we are trying to do. One is organizational assurance, where we have systems in place to identify and mitigate different differing risk perceptions of stakeholders to meet business needs. Next is supplier, the confidence that controls of third-party suppliers, adequate and meets organization's benchmarks. Fourth is business partners, where confirmation that security arrangements with partners assess and mitigate the business risks. Services and IT systems, there's capability of developers, suppliers of IT services, and systems to implement effective systems to manage risk with organizational businesses. I think this is the key areas of assurance we are trying to handle it here. Then why and what the business assurance? So manufacturing industries to see, services industries to see, project insurance, project management to see. All these things are going to give you a kind of comprehensive role model for giving an object, for meeting the objective, deliver significant commercial value to the business while fully complying with regulatory requirements. To avoid end-run type of scandals and comply with business Sarbanes in US or maybe class partner in India. So we have to give assurance to shareholders. So shareholders business assurance, we are trying to say that everything is going to work together and maybe it's a collaborative, cooperative environment. We are going to assure that businesses will run properly, even disruption happens. Next slide. So benefits of assurance are 5. So let me give you the outline of it. Contributes to effectiveness and efficiency of business operations. Ensures reliability and continuity of information systems. Assists in compliance with laws and regulations. Assures that organization risk exposure is mitigated. Confirms that internal information is accurate, timely, and reliable. Increases investor and lenders' confidence. So I think these are kind of benefits of assurance. If assurance is difficult to give, but once you give, these are the benefits we are going to achieve. Next point. So there are 5 governance components. 5 governance components. Backside, please. One slide back. One slide black, please. Kindly back up one slide. Hello? Next slide, next slide. Next slide, please. Next slide. Next slide, please. So I think what we are going to say is the kind of society which is E, and we are going to talk about global governance, that is G governance. And we are trying to see various aspects of this. This slide depicts the kind of B governance, or maybe E implementation systems, E businesses, and quality assurance framework, and e-commerce, and e-investment. Everything is going to be connected, collaborative, and is going to work in a continuous manner in which we are supposed to get the benefits what we are supposed to achieve. Next slide. Next slide, please. So there are 5 components of governance: so project governance, IT governance, legal governance, security governance, and human governance. I think this is very important. Last aspect has been left out. So what we thought we'll add it up. So it's a global phenomena. Combines code of UK, SOX of USA, Basel 2 and 3, the project governance, the IT governance, and human governance. That's what I think the 5 points on that. India initiatives, there are very initiatives, the global initiatives also there. Next slide. Next slide. I think there are various partners who contribute this kind of in assurance framework. This is depicted in this slide. Maybe possibly, I think, design parameters to the kind of business technical, business commercial, and business financial, and ICT is going to play a bigger role in kind of regulating the kind of components and gives a kind of assurance in technological disruption as well as kind of assurance in the kind of businesses to run smoothly effectively, efficiently, and accurately as depicted. Next slide. Next slide. So I think what we are trying to see is the integration of multi-state, multi-located integration is going to talk about. One is operational integration we are talking. Next one is professional integration HR. Then third point, which is normally not addressed fully, is emotional and cultural integration. And ICT and government business service integration. So multi-technology coexistence and seamless integration. Technologies over the period of time which enterprises have been using it in various functions. And information assurance is a new area which has come up. So what we are trying to assure here is quality, currency, customization, personalization, and ICE is the sole integrator of IT governance. That's important. Next slide. So there are five interdependent characteristics, critical issues we are going to talk about here. Maybe infrastructure characteristics, what we have, the organizational, the operational, the temporal and spatial. And environmental interdependency is economic, legal, regulatory, technical, and social, political. The coupling and response behavior is adaptive, inflexible, loose or tight, linear or complex. I think coupling is very important in the kind of response behavior. The fourth is type of failure, common cause, cascading cause, or escalating cause. The fifth is the type of interdependence, physical, cyber, logical, and geographic. State of operations is normal, stress or disruptor, repair and restoration. I think in the kind of thing where we are going to critically manage this kind of issues. So what is about type of cyber governance? So cyber governance, how it is different from corporate governance or IT governance, and how it is related to these areas of governance. This is what we are going to cover next slide. What is governance and how is different from management? Governance means steering, providing high-level direction through strategies, policies, organizational structures, and processes to achieve objectives and monitoring and control processes. Cyberspace is a virtual space that is accessible through computers and network, internet technology, and has no territorial or physical boundaries. So it creates a virtual world. Who will control this? Who will police this virtual world? Is the most important question. There's a kind of things where globally we are trying to see how to best have a kind of legal framework which is going to be acceptable. So cyber governance refers to governance of cyberspace. There are political, legal, economic, social, and technology dimensions to governance of cyberspace. Who is responsible for cyber governance? What is the role of national governments? What is the role of international laws and regulations or treaties that govern the cyberspace? What is the role of global corporations? What is the role of global commercial and trade organizations and agencies such as UN and Interpol? The current and future state of e-commerce, e-banking, e-government, e-healthcare, e-markets all depend on the governance of cyberspace to facilitate the use of web as a medium to promote global interchange without risk involved. So I think what we are trying to say is when a connected world is coming, how do you manage this kind of connected world? How the kind of legal complications are coming up in kind of which is territorial based to the kind of global basis, and what kind of understandings we have. So I think what we are trying to see here is to all aspects of cyber regulations we have to see. We should also deal with creating governance structures to facilitate optimal use of web as a medium of global commerce, banking and social interactions and global collaboration. What technologies would drive the future of internet and cyberspace to facilitate businesses, commerce, political, economic and social interactions. So IT governance will be a subset of the overarching area of cyber governance within the corporation, subject to national boundaries, and would be connected with governance of ITs within the corporation to align IT with businesses and corporate. I think what we are trying to say is what is the local governance, what is the national governance, what is the global governance. So I think what we are trying to see here is information technology in business, what kind of relationship they have, and what kind of status we have, current status and future. Does IT matter at all? Or IT-enabled business matters? The role of information, the role of information systems in business, the role of information technology in enabling business and IT dependence. I think this is a very important aspect of the cyberspace governance. Changing role of CIO, I think very, very important aspect. We created a CIO, Chief Information Officer, and what kind of changing role is happening from the beginning of IS management to the kind of IS governance. Step 2.0, 2.3, 3.0, 4.0, I think all are happening to the kind of governing cyberspace. So I think this is going to cover entire gamut of businesses, e-business, maybe e-health, e-banking, e-governance, and all of the current challenges and issues we will cover. Next few slides. Next please, ma'am. So I think what we are trying to give here is information assurance. Increasingly, the goal is not about information security, what about information assurance, which deals with issues such as data availability, the currency of data, the accuracy of data, the integrity of data. This means that the organization should focus not only on risk avoidance, but also risk management. So you have to be able to evaluate risk, articulate them in business terms. And this is what Scott Norris said at the US Senate Department, US State Department. Next slide, please. So the information security, how governance, information security governance, how it is important. With security incidents and data breaches having a huge impact on corporations, security governance are oversight by the board, and executive management has assumed greater significance and greater importance today. Security governance refers to strategic direction given by the board and executive management for managing information security risk to achieve corporate objectives by reducing losses or liabilities arising from security incidents. Next slide. Next slide, me. I think what we are trying to go here in terms of security governance to security governance. So it will lead to development of an information security strategy and an action plan for implementation through a well-defined information security program. So governance would lead to establishment of organizational structure and processes and monitoring schemes. For the last few years, IT and security professions have talked about information technology and particularly information security as a business enabler. Today, it might also be called compliance enabler. So IT and security organizations have both been able on the front lines for compliance efforts and also by being asked to play two pivotal roles. First is to provide security, well-controlled IT environment to improve business performance. Next is to assist the organization in strategically and tactically addressing risk governance, risk, and compliance requirements to meet. Thank you. Next slide. So what we are trying to see is threat and vulnerability management. I think various aspects of this has been detailed in the slide. So I would like to only confirm here that threat and vulnerability management is going to be a big issue nowadays because we have to support a comprehensive inventory of known threat exposures and threat management on an online real-time basis, and also integrated threat vulnerability management solution to better monitor, report, and respond to complex security threats and vulnerabilities as well as regulatory requirements we have to meet. So what we are trying to say is the whole idea was reducing IT operation costs and increasing efficiency by implementing effective user management to support self-service and automate workflow. And that's what's happening through AI and other technologies today. Next slide. Next slide, ma'am. So I think the area boils down to risk identification. To assess current security capabilities, including threat management, vulnerability management, compliance management, and reporting intelligence analysis. Identify technology requirements for bridging security gaps. So integrated security information management, that's what I think the whole ISM is coming up in the picture. Develop processes to evaluate, prioritize security intelligence. I think this is what the business analytics is able to give you, a kind of security intelligence which received from external sources, allowing organizations to minimize risk before the attack happens. To implement processes that support the ongoing maintenance and evolution and administration of security standards and policies. I think security standards itself is an evolving area. So based on these standards and compliances, we are making policies for implementation in the organization, which are multi-located and multi-global organizations. So assist in aggregating security data from multiple sources in a central repository or a dashboard for user-friendly presentation to managers and auditors. Help design and implement a comprehensive security reporting system that provides a periodic, holistic view of all IT risk compliance systems and outputs. So assist in developing governance programs to enforce policies and accountability. I think this is a very important aspect of ISO identification. Next slide. Next slide, please, ma'am. So I think the whole area is what we talk about now. Next few slides is going to be the role of standards in making a kind of information security assurance. So one is security policies. There is 27,000 series of ISO mention these kind of components, which is going to be implemented. Compliance can be audited, verified, certified. So organizations of information security, asset management, human resources security, physical environmental security, communications and operation management, access control, information system acquisition, development and maintenance, information security incident management, business continuity management, and compliance. I think this 27,000 series talks about the various gamut of the areas where ISMS is going to be talking about. Next slide. Next slide, ma'am. So I think here we talk about risk management, 9 rules. There's no return without risk. If there's going to be 100% risk, nobody is going to give you. If it's going to be 0% risk, nobody is going to bother. So I think we have to go for a kind of risk compliance matrix on the greater scale. So we have to be transparent. Know what you don't know. That's a major important issue. I think this is what I really question, that assumption you make. That means know what you don't know. Communicate, diversify, show discipline, use common sense. I think that's what I think very important aspect, because normally people say high technical issues, compliance aspects, but common sense is not going to be seen properly. I think common sense is very important for us first to see. Then only go to the higher levels. Return is only off the question. Okay, next slide. So you can see the slide here. I think cost of control, cost of organization management is shown. I think what we are trying to see here is a kind of global responsibility of collaborative responsibilities. CEO, CXOs, CTO, CIO, CXO responsibility. This system should ensure that both business and technology managers are properly engaged in identifying compliance requirements and planning compliance initiatives, which typically involve complementary adjustments in systems, practices, training, and organization. So I think there are a lot of things about this kind of responsibilities. Next slide, we can see. Next slide. Next slide. So there are three key issues and 5 major IT decisions. So need to reduce IT confusion chaos. I think IT also streamlines all the disciplines, but also gives confusion chaos. The environment demands accountability. Only most productive organizations will thrive. That's what I think 3 key issues. And 5 major decisions: IT principles, IT architecture, IT infrastructure strategies, business application needs, and IT investments. I think these are the 5 major IT decisions one has to make in the organization. So I think this is a new model, Calder-Meyer IT governance framework. This talk about the entire gamut of assurance in terms of POSO, COVID, SOX, ISO 17999, and balance screen card and recharges at various levels. So I think this is the kind of things where standards are going to be one way, compliance to standards another thing, and policies and programs, and profit and business management is another issue. I think the cyberspace is all going to be collaboratively, cooperatively, and coexisted, and they're going to be managed. I think this is what the slide says in the IT governance framework. Next slide. So the roles and responsibilities of IT governance highlighting the parts of the CEO, the business executives, the CIO, IT steering committee, technology council, and IT architecture review board. I think these are kind of collaborative, how they're going to constantly collide, cooperate, coexist, collaborate, and make decisions is very important kind of cyber governance scenario. Next slide. Next slide, please. So I think a lot of alliances taking place here. So what we are going to talk about here is outline, CIO and CEO's alignment, is business-led information strategy. CIO, CMO's alignment, competitive edge and CVP, value proposition. CIO and CTO, cost-benefit optimization. CEO and CFO, shareholder value maximization. CIO and CHRO, employment performance, employee performance and rewards. CIO and business partners, virtual extended enterprise. I think even our partners are going to be part of our enterprise extended virtually. I think they are going to work together with us and meeting the kind of strategic alliances, meeting the kind of objectives what we have. Next slide. See the productivity. I think everyone wants productivity. I think there are 5, 6 areas of productivity which we're going to see here. One is capital productivity. That means return of ROI, return of investment. I think what we are trying to see is change to return of information, EVA and MEA. Material productivity, we are going to say that how the cost optimization is taking place in terms of 60% of cost we are giving operate to give a full business potential. Managerial productivity is information worker. So every worker, employee is going to be information worker. They are treated as a kind of information contributor, and we have to manage them. Labor productivity is enabled by information workforce. Company productivity is micro, and factor productivity is macro. I think this is the productivity promise we are going to make for an enterprise. Next. So I think 4 phases of CEO and CEO management framework is depicted here. So the One is, I think, kind of inward and outward in businesses. I think there are 4 layers. Which segment you're going to be in, and how you're going to manage a kind of practices of IT practices, IT powered business opportunities, what you're going to meet the IT powered business results. I think these are kind of slide which is depicting a single point of view, how they are going to collaboratively work and make achievement of business goals. Next slide. Next slide, ma'am. So I think information is a competitive advantage we are going to use. So for visioning and strategic planning, that means scenarios, various scenario simulations we make and see that projected, and then we are making a decision on this. World-class project management, hard and soft. Implementation, operational excellence. So DSS, IS, ES, CRM, CSM, SCM, all the kind of things are going to be working towards optimization and control. I think these are kind of information going to be used as a competitive advantage here. The way forward, what we are saying is learn about business, our own businesses. I think we don't know we don't know much about our own businesses. I think these are more complexity of issues what we are facing. And reaching out to all business and functionaries, I think we are going to collaborate with every one of them. Sharp internal consultancy competencies. I think talent management, talent skilling and reskilling is very important aspect of this. Proactively sees the repository of Amazon partners, I think technology partners. So I think what we are going to say is here is IT and law, security and risk, business integration, the value to the enterprise, the alignment is equal to collaboration, governance and funding, IT sourcing, performance measures, growing talent beyond customer service to customer happiness, maybe possibly the customer delight, what we are going to talk about here. So what we need here is develop an aligned strategic IT plan, create and collaborate decision-making process, raise the profile of IT, get the green light for going ahead. Next slide. Next slide. So what we are going to talk about here is process governance. So develop and align the strategic IT plan, because that's what we said. The step-by-step format of this methodology will walk through you proven processes of creating strategic IT plan that is aligned with business goals. I think very important aspect of alignment of this. Next is collaborative decision-making process. As IT impacts more business procedures, more stakeholders will become involved in the decision-making process. So maybe possibly this is, I think, we don't do it normally, but we have to do it in coherence and a competent manner. So raise the profile of IT by aligning IT planning with organization goals and IT skills, and IT will become a key player in evaluating business issues, the factor to enterprise-wide decision-making. I think we keep going in the process governance. Next slide. Next slide. So I think what we are trying to see here is the project value and effectiveness we are going to measure in terms of effectiveness, utility, efficiency, the economy, the control, and security. The assessment is in terms of the strategy, delivery, technology, people, and systems. I think this is the kind of assessment we are going to do in the overall framework. Thank you. Next slide. Next slide, please. I think this IT services, when it comes to, I think what kind of legal framework what we have and certification framework what we have. I think if there are 5 framework attributes what we are going to talk. I think no one is going to cater to all the 5. So effectiveness, efficiency, confidentiality, integrity, availability, compliance, and reliability of information. I think this is a kind of framework attributes, but I think the various thing aspect covers various depth, various aspects of this kind of things. Maybe control theory, which talks about confidence, integrity, availability. COVID talks about the kind of 4 aspects more comprehensively, and 3 aspects in kind of loose coupled manner. An IT Act of India, possibly the global IT Acts, that are coming to various countries, also not covering all the entire spectrum of attributes. Next slide. Next slide, please. So I think what we are looking for here, what kind of standards we have, what kind of standards we can adopt, what kind of standards can be certified, and compliance can go to give a comfort for us. So I think the quality assurance standards, the security services standards are coming up in a big way. ISO 9000, 27000, 20000. So business continuity planning and disaster management, ISO 22301. I think this covers comprehensive compliance strategy of certifying this kind of environment for business continuity planning and disaster management. Digital preservation of repositories. I think there's a very new area which is coming up because information is going to be stored, retrieved, used for decision-making purposes in a continuous fashion. So we are going to talk about kind of repository certification compliance. That's what I think the new standard has come up. So there are two kind of standards what we have. One is technical, another one is management. So technical standards were specifications mainly for interoperability, accessibility, interactivity. The management standards are one, auditable, verifiable, certification, compliance. I think we are going to do both of them together for technical as well as management aspects. Next slide. Next slide, please. So I think this is one slide which is going to give you the kind of coverage what we have and what kind of organization is going to achieve Six Sigma sustenance level. So I think various aspects are not covering the entire gamut. So no standard is going to be covering the entire strategic, process control, process execution, work instruction. I think you can see the kind of entire things are mapping in this kind of slides, where we are going to see the kind of things where no single standard is enough. So what we are trying to do is group standards. And now also we are trying to evolve. I think I'm the standards champions committee for 25 years. So we are trying to see the kind of sectoral specific standards for compliance is going to come up in a very big way. So I think we are trying to see how the kind of things are going to come in the kind of technical compliances. So here I think legal legislative trust and techno-legal issues and amendment to IT Act is all happening to see that how you aspect of new kind of threats and this what we are going to achieve in terms of kind of new standards which are coming up to see that all the frameworks have been addressed properly. Next slide. Next slide, please. So I think techno-legal developments are happening. Developing and this impact is very large. So new standards are coming up in Wi-Fi protected access security standard. I think everything is going to be connected to Wi-Fi nowadays. So we are trying to work out how to have a process control thing, which is going to happen in the kind of environment. TCG version 1.2 and above specs for trusted platform for chips, trusted platform for governance, which consists of hardware, software manufacturers such as IBM, all are working together to make this kind of new versions of the TCG. US Federal Information Act, which says about kind of control and compliance of this kind of guidelines, which is issued from time to time. Next slide. Next slide, please. So I think a lot of things will just come up in terms of DNS 6 standards, Check 21 bill, federal guidelines. So all the things are going to give us kind of more kind of complexity of compliance regulations, which are globally to be followed, multi-locator, multi-country locator organizations, global organizations. Next slide. So each one can be talked like this. So I think here very interesting things we are trying to see. IT regulations and compliance and management, how do you do it? This is because of physical management, physical infrastructure mindset. I think past, we have inherited a past for which we cannot be held responsible. The present have fashioned on the present basis of development models, which have undergone many mid-course corrections. The present is continuous and happening changes in development continuously. The future, the path to the future, a future in which India and Indians will play a dominant role in the world affairs, maybe replete with opportunities and challenges. In several key areas, it is necessary to break from the past in order to achieve our vision we have within ourselves for the capacity to succeed. I think we must embrace ICE for innovation, creativity, management, productivity, and governance. I think very interesting aspect of these regulations is driving us to do that. I think another thing which is happening here is too much of creativity comes to result in anarchy. Too much of command control kills creativity. So we need a balancing act here in terms of IT regulations and policies, compliance and management programs. So very interesting thing is where we want more creativity and we want more command control to be implemented along with that. It's very difficult to have. So we have to have a balancing act on that. Next slide. Next slide, please. So I think up to value chain. I think how do you assure the organization cyber assurance in a big way? I think simple measures, business value delivered, and business management, IT management, we are going to see. I think these are kind of 4 steps where we are going to have simple measures, which is given highlighted here. So we want to have revenue growth, we want to return on assets, but revenue per employee is going to be increasing every time whenever new systems and compliances are coming up in a big way. So next slide. Next slide, please. So I think in general about what are the kind of principles of good governance. where we can give an assurance. There's leadership, selflessness, integrity, objectivity, accountability, openness, honesty. And other part of governance is human governance. I think people-oriented governance. Human, which should be people-friendly. Next is creative, it should be creative also. Uses knowledge for national wealth and wealth creation. Very, very important aspect. Understand the economics of knowledge. Maybe possibly this kind of things is high morality in ethics. I think the ethics part not covered fully. I think now we are going to see here how we make rapidly move up the staircase in the governance assurance government maturity model. I think very, very important aspect of a governance maturity model in the cyber assurance area. Maybe possibly first time is processes, next is interaction, the third area is transactional, the fourth area is transformation, the fifth area is outsourcing and management. I think all the things are going to be working together to achieve the strategic policy, people, process, technology to implement, and you'll see that maturity model can be certified. I think next slide is going to say about 5 levels of maturity models are same level 5 certification process like that. We are going to develop for governance also. So I think the governance and assurance maturity model we are trying to see is zero non-existent, initial one, repeatable, and we are now normally in repeatable and defined stage 2 to 3. And we are going to have managed and optimized. There's a kind of fifth level we are going to achieve for a kind of practices and what kind of feedback mechanism using various technologies what we have, like AI and machine learning is going to be used here in terms of making this maturity model work and assure you cyber governance, cyber assurance, the new technology era. Next slide. Next slide, please. So I think if you see the kind of assurance in the PPP environment is another area where we are trying to outsource various works, we are going to manage. So we are going to create a dynamic environment where customers, competitors, regulators, community, and owners are going to coexist. So they are going to be driven by market forces with velocity. And we have our own mission values, strategies, and objectives we have to achieve in terms of results, reputation, learning. So external dependencies, providers, alliances, and agents. I think we are going to see a collaborative model like this. There's called a e-assurance model, which is going to come up in a big way. I think this model has been tried and tested, but we are trying to see how kind of things are going to improve for a period of time of people, technology, processes, investment, and communication. So that talks about availability, capability, functionality, predictability, and accountability. Next slide. Next slide, please. So I think in governance matters, past is no guarantee. The present is imperfect. The future is uncertain. The failure is not when we fall down, but when fail to get up. So cyber assurance is going to give us always assurance that we'll be up all the time, even if uncertainties happen, like COVID environments, which has happened. And all work formulations, work from home concepts, then our IT systems, procedures are going to enable us. So I think there's a new environment we are facing. The same thing is going to give a challenge for us to manage. Next slide. So I think what we are trying to say here, this is my signature. Together, everyone achieves more. I think we have to work together in a collaborative fashion, in a cooperative fashion, in a co-working fashion, and coexisting fashion. I think we are going to achieve much more than what we are doing it today. Next slide. Next slide. So I think I should thank you. Let us assure you, good cyber governance and business assurance in cyber era. That means of policy, this total management framework, technology management framework we are going to follow in our environment, in major globally connected organizations. We are going to be multi-located, multi-functional, and multi-sectoral. Thank you very much. Let me open up for questions and answers. So let me, if I am able to answer some other things I can do, because I'm also a learner. I'm learning a lot. So we are also working together with the various organizations to work much better assurance we are going to give. So let us open up for interaction, please.
Thank you. Thank you. Be here.
Yeah.
So I'm just opening the questions for all the panelists. I'm one of the panelists here, so I'm opening it for all the attendees. Request of if there is a question, please type it in the chat window, or if you want to ask the question, do raise an hand, and then we'll let you ask.
Okay, I'm trying to answer whatever I can, and otherwise I'll come back to you with the email. Please, go ahead.
So this is Andy Chen here. I was wondering if you could give us a good use case or examples of a good e-governance, cyber governance examples that you see.
Yeah, I can give you, because let me give you one example here. We have unique ID generation done. When it was planned, it was supposed to be with one single biometric, fingerprints. Okay, and in the kind of odd laborers, the fingerprints is very difficult to get it. So maybe possibly to use sophisticated equipment to see that fingerprints are taken, which is going to match for all the transactions or interactions they do. So we suggested 3 biometrics formulations. One is a facial geometry, the other one is a fingerprint, the third one is kind of iris. So all the 3 have been, one of them satisfies when we say this is a man who is, or person, woman who is going to be identified as a kind of unique ID scheme. So these are major schemes which made. Second is, I think in the government organizations, there are a lot of interest, specific interest specific to different departments. Like we have IT department, ministry, we have a home ministry, we have a communication ministry, we have a trade and commerce ministry, we have an industry ministry, right? So all the 3 or 4 of them are going to not work together. So they have their own interest in kind of assuring businesses and the compliances, right? So we are going to see this how the unique ID scheme is going to collaboratively work together as a kind of integrative scheme, which is going to be implemented in the government, which we said, make a task force or make a cabinet committee on ID, unique ID. So it was made, and Prime Minister was chairing the session meetings, and we are able to get a lot of funding as well as the kind of cooperation between departments and ministries to achieve this scheme. Now UID is working very well. This is one of the schemes where we had. Second scheme, which I thought I will give an example here, is a passport scheme, right? The passport is a national identity, right? When passport is issued, the policeman comes for verification, at least in India, if not other places, like because other places they have the driving license verification as well as other verification, they have already database is available. Here there's not big database available, so policeman comes for verification at all. What is tops here is a kind of identification where only residence proof is accepted, not citizenship proof. But ID passport is going to be national identity as a citizen of India. How will you prove a citizen of India scheme? That is a major issue because a policeman cannot do it with the time frame that we are given for issuance of passport. So in the unique ID scheme, you made a change. The change was that all the residents of India will be identified by unique ID, not citizens. But citizenship is a very complex task to be identified. So I think this is a kind of thing where we are coming into a kind of multiple passports we're going to get. How will you get a multiple passport or multiple issuing authority? I think this is also another integration we made. So we made a national database of all passports to be issued, all passport machine readable. And I was one of the members of the UN task force for machine readable passport implementation. And I think we are able to achieve it to some extent, if not fully. I think this is the kind of collaboration happens in terms of governance projects. I can go on giving you citing examples because I've been involved in various major projects in government and been successfully implemented. I'm very happy that my systems are working till today without any change. In the finance sector, in the transportation sector, in the kind of ID sector, in the kind of immigration passport sector, in the kind of industrial sector and commerce sector, right? I think we are trying to see the kind of changes which is happening, the business environment change, but systems are still working. And we are able to get up on this. This is what happened to system design strategies we adopted. I think there are a lot of success stories we can do. A lot of lessons we learn. I think I can talk about this kind of lessons learned by another lecture, which I am planning to give towards the end of October or something. Okay, I hope this satisfies 2 examples I gave.
Yeah, thanks. There's a question by Caesar Jr. The question is Cyber Alliance the new norm used by businesses in collaborating to fight cybercrime? Do you think the cyber alliances are effective for business?
See, the alliances are going to give only on a kind of a positive aspect of that. But negative aspect of threats is going to be analyzed by you. Your intelligence is going to work. Your knowledge management has to work. Talent management has to work here to see that the intelligence is built into the kind of systems which is your own. I think there only you excel. So I think alliances are good in terms of common thing of understanding and common things of regulatory working process, common things of ethics and management. I think very difficult to control ethics of there's a people ethics, there's a program ethics, there's a departmental ethics, there's a national ethics, global ethics. I think very interesting aspect of this kind of things. Third is privacy and publicity and privacy. I think what we need is a kind of thing where we have to worry about privacy. I think a lot of governments are going to set up privacy commissioners to ensure the privacy of information of citizens are protected. I think very interesting areas are happening, but we need collaboration, we need coexisting, we need co-working, but we have to safeguard ourselves. Hope it satisfies you. Because cyber crime is another area where there's no uniform definition of cyber crime. Because this is the area where I have been cyber forensics and cyber crime, cyber thing I'm working, and I'm also assisting the intelligence agencies and law enforcement agencies like that. But very difficult to see uniform definition of cyber crimes across the world. So a lot of things have been, our understanding has been happening in the United Nations level, and still I think we have challenges before us.
Yeah, thank you. Looking if there are any other questions from the audience. There are some points which are raised asking to share the presentation and also give the slides. But I would like to inform everybody that the session is recorded and would be available on our website www.teams-g under webinar section. So you would be able to see that.
Hello?
Also get it as part of your post webinar mail, so you would be able to get that too. But you please wait for our mail to come back and then you will get those.
Yeah, I think it's being posted in the things Thames TV or Thames recording videos. That will be a good thing to share. But yeah, still some copyrights are there. So we have to take care of it.
Yeah, we will make it available on the website.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because whatever information is shared is public information to some extent, not private. Private suggestions are given for improvement, but really is not the governmental thinking or governmental policies or governmental programs. It doesn't indicate totally, because it's a presentation for technical and professional managers and other people who are involved in these areas. So it's only a kind of exposition of the overall aspects of this kind of aspects of information assurance. But really, I think even in US, the good information assurance authority and trust, very difficult to get it, the information assurance implemented totally in the governmental as well as non-governmental frameworks.
Sure. I think waiting to see if there is any question popping up from the audience. Kindly let us know if there is any question. If not, I think also in the interest of time, I would like to wind up this session. First of all, wish to thank Dr. Subramaniam Krishnamurthy for the session, for the wonderful session which he did. And we'll anyway, as I said, we will share the slides. He's also the Thames, IEEE Thames Delhi chapter chair in the past. So he's also a strong IEEE volunteer and a senior leader in India in the IT sector. We would, if you have any other questions, also send it to us offline, and we will get him to answer your questions. And thank you.
From my side, I think I'd like to thank Andy Chen, who has spent his time, and others who have spent their whole time when their businesses occupying them. And time zones, different time zones are covered. So thanks a lot for contributing. And your presence makes a lot of difference to us and gives us a lot of encouragement to do much more than what we have done till now or what we are going to do in the near future. Thanks for the encouragement.
Subramanian sir.
Yeah.
I also would like to remind all the participants to provide us the feedback. The feedback mail will come after this session. Kindly give us the feedback, and also look forward to having you all on the next week's webinar. We have Thursdays with Temps as a webinar series on every Thursday. So you would be receiving mails from us and also on the social media. Do check it out and attend our next sessions. And would love to have you and in the future sessions and also get your feedback. And also I would wish to thank Andy Chen, IEEE Temps President, for being available for this session and also being there. Andy, would you like to share a few things if you want to say a few words?
Well, that's great. No, my apologies as well for the slow startup. We'll make some improvement for the following sessions, so we can reduce some of the wait time for you folks. But this is a very informal sessions, and I really appreciate the insight and some of the high-level thinking that's shared here. So I appreciate that very much. Thank you very much for all coming. We'll see you in the future soon.
Yeah. So thank you, Andy. Have a good day there in Canada.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Subramanian, and thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
If you are in the Europe or in US time zone, good evening to all in the Asian time zone. Thank you. With this, we will conclude our session.